Hello, Rocky Gitana. Hello, how are you? Welcome to this live streaming. Let's wait a little bit to people come in. How are you? Fine. Where are you? German, Brazil. Hi, Christian. See you. Okay, Argentina. Thank you. Thank you to be here. Brasil, ok. Às vezes nós vamos falar em português aqui. Eu, um pouquinho, mas nós vamos falar em inglês, preferencialmente. Então, vamos lá. Welcome. Welcome everybody to today. We have a special guest from Germany, a great drummer, Christin Neddens from Germany, unbelievable drummer. We are very happy to bring her to talk a little bit with us. Let's talk about shops. Let's talk about career gear. And you can send your questions using the toolbox down below, the question toolbox down below, the box with the interrogation. Okay? Send your questions. Christian have so much to explain, to teach us. A very, very great drummer from Germany. Hello for you that you are in YouTube. We are in YouTube too. Our channel, Girls on Drums, on YouTube. You can see this streaming after we finish. Thank you to be here. Stay with us until we finish. Okay, let's go. Let's call Christian.
Hey, hi. Joe, how's it going?
Yeah, great. Thank you to be here with us.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yeah, our pleasure. Our pleasure. How are you? Fine.
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'm doing very fine. I used the time since the lockdown kind of efficiently, and I worked a lot. I recorded a lot, and yeah, I'm very happy. I'm doing well. Thank
you. Yeah, great. I'm happy with this. Today we have so many people that are entering now at YouTube too. So if you have questions, remember you. Not Christian, you that watching us, send your question using the question toolbox down below. If you don't see it, send your question through the YouTube channel. Okay? Let's go. Julia, hello, Julia. Christine, let's start with the beginning.
Yeah.
How was your first experience with music and with drums?
Yeah, good question. Kind of a typical question. So I grew up in northern Germany, and I grew up in a very musical family. So my brother is a guitar player, and my father is a trumpet player. My mother is a flute player, and these were the first steps. When I went to school, I sang in a choir. I played very early in a big band, and after school, I studied music. And yeah, that was the first. These are the first steps of my musical career, I would say.
Yeah, musical family. My family don't have so many musicians. Actually, have only two. Me and my cousin. That was a great musician. So when you start the drum set, what about your first experience in playing? It was with your family?
Yeah, I have an older brother, and he was a big fan of these rock fusion 70s, 60s stuff. And when I was a kid, like when I was 6, 7, 8 years old, I like my brother very much. I listened also to that music. And for me, bands like Weather Report or Jaco Pastorio's Word of Mouth Big Band, Peter Erskine on drums, this kind of music was so normal for me as a kid. You know, I was not used to listen to pop music or radio stuff a lot. I was more used to listen to that fusion stuff, to that early fusion stuff. So for me, it's kind of normal. It doesn't seem to be complicated for me or whatever. I grew up with it, and that's kind of funny because I would never have known when I was 10 or 11 years old that I would study with Peter Erskine 10 or 15 years later. So yeah, jazz rock, that was has always been my favorite style, I think. Yeah.
So it made all the difference at your playing, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. I was always interested not only in jazz or pop or rock. I was always very open-minded all the time, and that's definitely one maybe skill I still have. I'm very open-minded, and I love the inspiration from a variety of genres. That's definitely what I like.
Yeah, great. Do you remember when you listen to Peter Erskine or another drummer that you listen and think, wow, this is what I want to do for my entire life?
I think as a child you don't think in this kind of way. I think it was just more kind of a everyday feeling. I really love that wild and this inspirational and this funky, rocky, punchy approach of that music style. And later, when I studied music, when I met Peter in LA, and when I learned all that jazz stuff, I really get the impression, oh, that's kind of a lifestyle. I'm a risk taker. I love the risk, and I love the diversity, and and that's it. It's more kind of a lifestyle. I think jazz is a lifestyle.
Great. And your first drum kit, it was similar to the one that you use today. Tell us about your first drum kit, because we are so crazy about drum gear. But let's start just with your first drum kit.
My first drum kit. So I'm a Yamaha. I was a Yamaha child, so I grew up with a stage custom set, and I played it for a couple of years. So I really loved the Yamaha stuff. I was so used to the hardware and all these things. And my first kit was a Cymbals stage custom Yamaha kit in a natural wood finish, very beautiful, and I still have it. And but meanwhile, I played on so many drum kits, and I played in so many different musical settings, and I'm not so focused on I wouldn't say gears. It's more about what you have in your hands, right? And the sound you create. And I will switch the company. I was endorser with Yamaha for a couple of years, and it was a really cool time. I learned a lot, and it was fantastic. Now it's time to change, but I won't say to which company. It's a little secret. So during the next 3 weeks, it will.
How many time you have to wait to know about your new drum company?
Oh man, I would love to tell you what kind of new drum set I ordered. It's such a beautiful set. I can't tell you. It's really a dream of mine, but I won't tell now. So in 3 weeks it will be official, and then everybody will see it.
Maybe is from Germany. Just a clue.
No. Now I got you. No.
No. Okay. I think you have some friends at your StreamYard YouTube. Do you want to say hello? I have Matthias. I don't know if I said correctly.
Yeah,
Do you want to
absolutely
say
correct.
hello in German? We have 3 people on YouTube because here's the mainly streaming. Hello to YouTube guys.
Hello to YouTube guys. Yeah, I know a couple of Matthias, so hi back. Later I will repeat this.
Okay. If you have questions, people send us to to Christian using the toolbox down below. Write your question. We have pleasure to read to Christine. Okay, let's move forward. Tell us about your study with Peter Erskine in USA or Europe, USA, correct?
You see, yeah. You see, yeah. So yeah, maybe let's start with another step. So before I studied in the States, I studied in northern Germany at 2 universities in Hanover with Heinz Lichius. He's a great guy here from Hamburg, a drummer, great drummer. And he introduced me to all that big band stuff and pop and rock and jazz stuff. And then I went to the States because I felt like I'm prepared to study with Peter, and I expected that the level must be very high. So I was a bit, I wouldn't say scared, but yeah, I expected that I will meet people who are really great drummers. Anyway, I applied for it, and I met Peter a couple of times before in Germany when he played with the WDR Big Band.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I was in touch with him, and then I applied, and I was invited for the audition. And yeah, I was pretty nervous when I was in LA for the first time. I played the audition, but yeah, I succeeded somehow, and then I was accepted at UC. You know, you already talked with Ana Bajero maybe about UC. I mean, UC is a very a very well-known university, so one of the maybe best universities and music departments the United States have. And I was also a big fan of Bob Mintzer and the whole Yellow Jackets crew, and everybody's teaching there. It's a great school, Thornton School of Music. So yeah, I started studying with Peter, and that was really great. It was hard, but he's a great teacher. So the topics were, it was not so much about technique. It was more about sound, musicality, creativity, and being able to play in these jazz genres with the right vocabulary, I would say. So a lot of advanced things about music, and that was totally brilliant, and I really learned a lot, and I'm super thankful for that time. And I would say I moved back, and after 2 or 3 years I started understanding a couple of things Peter told me. So yeah, it always needs time to develop, and for me that was studying in LA was kind of a turning point in my career, I would say. It really broadened up my horizon and opened my eyes in different ways.
Great, fantastic. So I must admit that I heard some kind of Erskine influence when you play, because I saw your videos and I like so much. So when you play the flat cymbal,
yeah,
I can recognize some kind of Erskine kind of sound atmosphere.
Okay.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
I wouldn't refuse that that kind of idea or impression because I'm super influenced by Peter and Peter's playing, but also by, I mean, all these jazz fusion guys. Here in Germany, we have Wolfgang Hafner, and I also learned a lot from him. But I think his playing is not so different from Peter Erskine's playing. So it's very music related. It's very tasteful. It's very rich, refer to that vocabulary these guys use. And so, yeah, thank you. I wouldn't refuse that. Thank you. Yeah.
What kind of concept Peter passed to you about dynamics or about playing in a different kind of situations when playing jazz, of course, but about dynamics, playing like for example, Tony Williams or with brushes. What kind of concept he passes to you?
Yeah, that's a very interesting aspect because I think nowadays on social media, that kind of topic is a bit underrepresented, I would say. Dynamics in live playing situations are so important, and I wouldn't say. Oh yeah, now I remember. So exercises he gave me at the beginning were a lot about phrasing
Yeah.
with brushes, and so sometimes he just played one musical phrase about 2 bars or something, and I had to imitate it, and that was just a simple musical phrase, but sometimes it was so hard to play that. And I was sitting really next to him, just 1 meter, and I really got aware of, man, this player is such an incredible player. You know, these tiny little things are so interesting, and there you get aware of, oh man, he can really play. I've never heard this before. It's so precise and so tasteful and so in time, and especially so sensitive with dynamics. And yeah, we had to play a lot of brush things. So, and I think with brushes, you really need to learn dynamics and precision, I would say. And yeah, that was what I learned from Peter.
Yeah, great. So let's talk about brushes. Do you have some pair with you now?
Not now. I apologize.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
it's funny that you asked this question because I played a lot of brushes, and I always enjoy playing brushes. And nowadays, you know, at the moment I'm filming a lot of videos about brushes and rods and everything Meinl created, and it's a lot of fun. But at the moment, I don't have brushes with me, and it's also the reason why I don't play. I wouldn't say I don't play brushes anymore, but not so often. So I play more fusion and pop related stuff. So I don't have brushes.
Did you? No problem. Did you saw the Vic special streaming with the about brushes with the Jojo Mayer, Peter Erskine, and Wackel? Did you saw what Jojo Mayer said? Well, looking for your maybe I don't know maybe star. I don't know for what he was looking for, but I have so many brushes that you send me. I can open a shop with this so many brushes. Did you saw it? Yeah. So you don't have any brush. Let's pretend that you have a pair of brushes using your drumsticks. I know you have drumsticks. How the first lesson for you when you teach brushes for your students?
So I think the most important thing to understand about brushes, and I have that from Jeff Hamilton, who was always a teacher and a great mentor of mine, is that brushes don't work in a vertical way. They work in a horizontal way. And it's all about sound. Yeah, and sound. So, yeah, the first thing I would teach to my students would be just doing circles.
Yeah.
And paying attention that there are no differences in sound, you know, and that exercise for minutes. And also checking out different directions, you know. Some guys are more this kind of guys, some guys are more this kind of guys. So yeah, that's the first exercise everybody needs to learn. And I think the coordination thing is very tricky if you're not familiar with playing brushes. So I'm teaching at one university here in the city is called Osnabrück, and there are a lot of really, really cool pop drummers I teach, and they're mostly not familiar with brushes. And yeah, this kind of exercise would be the first exercise I would give a student.
Great. So I'm doing something wrong because I use a lot of brushes. I play horizontally and vertically. I use both. Yeah. So sometimes I really destroy my brushes.
Oh, really? Oh, be careful. Yeah. And do you have a good sponsor?
Yeah, Big Fart. Okay. Let me talk in Portuguese, just a little thing in Portuguese for people here. Pessoal, se vocês quiserem mandar em português a pergunta que vocês quiserem fazer para a Christin, pode mandar em português usando aquela caixinha de perguntas que tem aqui embaixo. Pode escrever em português, que eu vou procurar traduzir para ela, tá? Às vezes vocês estão meio tímidos, escrevam em português usando a caixinha, aproveitem. E aí eu traduzo para ela, tá? E aqui no YouTube também. Se vocês tiverem perguntas em português, só escrever. Eu estou vendo o chat e eu traduzo para Christin. Deixa eu ver se nós temos uma pergunta. Não temos ainda a pergunta. Ok? Só escrever em português. Ok. Sorry. Thank you, Christin.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. Jeff Hamilton is another classic drummer, another great drummer that I appreciate so much. Let's talk about Jeff Hamilton and a little bit about your classes with him.
Yeah. So, Jeff doesn't teach at USC. Oh, sorry. Do you hear me? Yeah, okay. Jeff doesn't teach at USC. He's, I would say, not such a big fan of schools in general. He grew up in a different way. And sometimes I really agree with him in that term. So I met him on a workshop or on a concert in LA the first time with Ana Pajero, by the way. And that was really, really cool. I mean, I knew him before, and his playing is really amazing. His sound and his feel and his musicality is really one of my favorite drummers. And I got in touch with him, and I was so surprised how friendly he is and how helpful and everything. And then one really cool thing happened afterwards. So I moved back to Germany half a year later, and I went back to the States for a tour with a youth big band from Germany. And this leader of the youth big band was a friend of Jeff Hamilton. His name is Jigs Wickham. He's an American trombone player. And we went with this big band on a workshop in Port Townsend in Seattle, in the north of the States, at the West Coast, at the Canadian border. Uh-huh. And Jeff was part of the teacher team there. And I would have never expected that he remembered me from that concert half a year ago, but he organized it that I was able to play in his combo for 1 week. And there we saw us again for a second time. And it was such a cool week. It really, turned my whole interpretation of jazz drumming, and it was so cool. I learned so much, and Jeff is such a cool guy. He's so helpful, and he's really a brilliant mentor. And you know, he has in Germany say if someone is very self-esteemed and very self-confident, and you know, when someone doesn't listen too much to what other people say or whatever, Jeff is kind of this guy. He's super cool, and he has a good advice for younger people. And I really appreciate that with Jeff. He's brilliant.
Great, fantastic. Let's talk about your sound now.
Yeah.
Your band. I want to start first with the YouTube videos that you published.
Yeah.
I like so much. Let's talk about Metheny, correctly?
Yeah.
It's about
Metheny,
yeah. It's about some kind of Pat Metheny influence.
Absolutely, yeah. So here in Berlin, I met a couple of great little older fusion guys from East Germany, and I played in the kind of famous jazz club in Berlin, A-Train, and during the between the two sets there was a break, and I went out to drink a beer, and then one guy arrived and said, "Okay, I've seen everything I need to see. Can you record my album?" And that was that guy. His name is Jürgen Heckel. He is a great guitar player and composer from East Germany, Berlin. And then I recorded that album, and it turned out that it's definitely exactly the music I want to play, and no comprehension difficulties. And I recorded that album, and from that album is that tune, Metheny. It's very Pat Metheny influence, because that guy who wrote the tune is a big Pat Metheny fan, and I'm also a big Pat Metheny fan. I mean, who is not a Metheny fan? He's absolutely fantastic and wrote so many great tunes. And what I really like is, for me, Pat Metheny created kind of a new style within the jazz genre, because especially when you play drums, these kind of open, jazzy, light feels combined with that downbeat feel. You know, you have ding-a-ling, 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 ding-a-ling. It's kind of a downbeat, backbeat feel, but you have this light, jazzy pattern, and I really like that kind of drumming style. It's really cool.
Really cool. When I first heard the live album, Secret Story live, correctly? Yeah, I heard all the people. It was recorded in Italy.
Oh yeah, okay. Mm-hmm.
I think it was in Italy. I heard all in the beginning of the first track. You can hear the people singing the melody.
Yeah.
So it's like a pop music.
Absolutely. I mean, the melodies Pat writes are so beautiful. It's beautiful music, and that's also a very important fact in music for me. I really need to hear beautiful melodies, and that's exactly how I prefer writing tunes. So yeah, beautiful music without no doubt.
Do you know how they did that sounds live? Because it's I don't know if the band was using some kind of metronome or VS, anything like this, because I can hear some kind of sounds that I don't know who was playing, like chicory, like anything like this. Do you know anything about this?
I mean, I've never seen it live. I mean, I checked out a couple of YouTube videos, and I was always totally obsessed. You know, I mean, this music has such a incredible energy. It's absolutely awesome. I just know from my guitar player from that fusion album, who wrote Metheny, that he has special guitars and programmed a lot of sounds, and I had no idea what he did exactly, but it seemed to be very complicated. Yeah, but I mean, that's that special guitar sound, which sometimes doesn't sound like a guitar anymore. It sounds more like a synthesizer or something. That's also Pat Metheny brand mark, I would say. So yeah, very For guitar nerds, I have no idea from that.
Let's talk about Orange Line.
Yeah.
Orange Line is your band, correct?
Correct.
And Deco Park. Let's talk about this track. I have some questions about the drum beats on at the final part, in the middle, and the final part. Let's talk about this track.
All right.
What you can say us about your ideas to these grooves at this track?
Yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of Chuck Loeb. Do you know Chuck Loeb? He's a very famous American fusion guitar player, and there was this band in the 90s which was called Metro. And Wolfgang Hafner was playing drums, Mitchell Foreman was playing keys, and Chuck Loeb was playing guitar and wrote the tunes mainly with Mitch Foreman together. And there was one tune which was called Michael Bureta, and that had this kind of African influenced groove. Or more maybe Middle East, but combined with African rhythmic and sounds. And I was so in love with that tune. That was definitely the influence for the tune Echo Park I wrote. So yeah, again, I'm super interested in all this kind of world grooves, and so my idea was to write kind of an African influenced tune.
Okay, because here in Brazil, I don't know if Bianca is here. Bianca, are you here now seeing us?
I think
in Brazil Bianca is a great drummer here from Brazil. We did a great streaming live yesterday. So we have a very similar Bianca, let's talk about you. Call it maybe Bianca. Como você chama esse batidão? Como você chama essa aí? Escreve pra gente rapidinho. In Brazil, we have a super trend groove right now that's very similar to the final groove at this tune Echo Park. Bianca, how do you okay.
Sorry.
Vaneira. Christy, are you?
Yeah.
Okay. we have some delay.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly. Bianca, você pode mandar suas perguntas em português, tá? Eu sei que você tá vendo. Mandem em português pra gente aqui, que eu traduzo para ela. Tá cheio de coisas que você pode perguntar. Okay, here in Brazil we have the rhythm called vaneira. That sounds very similar to the Echo Park final groove. Harry Andre Hansen sounds like samba-ish, like a Brazilian samba.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know something about Brazilian samba? Of course.
Of course. So, sorry for that. I need to fix that.
No problem.
One second. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I mean, I was a colleague of Ana Barreiro.
Yeah.
And we both studied with Aaron Safadi, who's another teacher at UC, a very great drummer, and we learned a lot from him. He's such a great guy. And we talked a lot about samba and bossa nova stuff, but also about, which is not Brazilian music, Cuban stuff. And, in Germany, we have always a little bit that problem that I feel like it's too cold here to practice these kind of rhythms. But whenever, and we are kind of far away from where this music is from. But I mean, this music is so rich, and there's one album I was totally fascinated by. It's a Brazilian Love Affair from George Duke.
Yeah.
And I mean, on this album, there are so many kinds of different Brazilian grooves mixed with modern 70 fusion grooves. So a Brazilian love affair. That's really my favorite kind of album, and everything I'm using nowadays in concerts or big band repertoire concerts or whatever are influenced from that album, I would say.
Great, great. You have a beautiful drum kit that you're using on these videos. You have just only 3 videos on YouTube. You don't like to publish on YouTube?
Good question. No. So you know.
No. Okay. No.
Very German, very direct. No. You know, the thing is, the whole social media thing. I mean, it's just such a big thing, and it grew a lot during the last 3 to 5 years. I mean, YouTube is a bit older, but anyway, and my impression is, or I can say, refer to social media, is since the lockdown, I really had time to do things like that. So it's not that I don't like it or whatever, but it just takes time, and the level on YouTube is so high. You need different camera perspectives, you need the professional video editing, sound editing things, you know, and I really had no time to do this because I was traveling, I was touring all the time. And yeah, since March, since the lockdown, I'm kind of active for the first time on Instagram, and yeah, of course my next video on YouTube is definitely on the making. And you know, I have this rudiment series on my Instagram channel, and I have the feeling that the people really like it because you give something, you know, people can learn or can share or whatever. And I really want to put these kind of videos also on my YouTube channel because yeah, I need to have more videos on YouTube for sure.
Definitely,
I know that.
Definitely. Yeah. Okay, Renata Petrelli. Thank you, Renata. Remember, you can send your questions to Christin using the toolbox down below with the interrogation point, or write on YouTube. It will be a pleasure to receive your questions. So Renata comment here, and besides this, it's harder for drummers, take too much time to do all this comparing to guitarists and bassists. Of course, because we need to prepare a lot of things, because the guitarist and bass player just basically plug and play and just put one cell phone or one camera. Drummer is always have a harder work. Do you agree, Christine?
Absolutely, in different terms. So I think it's more a question of what kind of personality you are. I was not aware of the fact when I was a child and I just wanted to learn drums, but later it turned out, especially in that big band context, that couple of things you have in your character, like let's say you want to take responsibility, you're self-confident, you won't decide where to go, you know, you want to decide what kind of dynamic, what kind of feel. That's so so much related to your personality, you know. And I learned that while I was playing a lot of big band things. When you're a big band drummer, you really need to be aware of all these things, and hesitating is never good. You really have to decide where to go, and you really have to lead this group of people, you know. And yeah, I played a lot of big band projects, and I learned that, okay, that's definitely the right place for me. I'm more a person who I love being my own boss and to decide things and to take responsibility in a group. I'm more kind of that person. And if you don't like that, because it can be very stressful, because the people expect a lot from you and you can do a lot of mistakes. At the beginning, when you learn big band drumming, it's not very funny for the drummer. definitely not. I don't know how familiar you are with big band playing, but for me, big band playing is one of the happiest jobs you can have. I mean, it's so much about also technique, but also about repertoire, music genres, and how to play big band kicks, how to prepare these kicks, and so on. So big band playing is really a hard thing. And it's more about your personality, what kind of guy you are.
Yeah, here in Brazil we don't have so many big bands. We have some, but not like in USA or Europe.
Yeah.
I just play once with a big band, but I play it with orchestra and choral. I don't know how to say. People
I don't
singing.
know.
Um,
Choir, yeah.
Choir. Yeah. Sorry. But big band, I don't have so many experience because we don't have many big bands here in Brazil. In my city, I maybe actually nowadays I think there's no big band here in my city.
Yeah,
Incredible.
I heard that from Brazilian drummers when I studied in LA. They were not familiar with big band drumming, and like Ana Barreiro, my colleague, was always like, "Oh my God, big band drumming is so far away from everything I can do." But anyway, I mean, it really depends on what country you grow up. And here in Germany, I wouldn't say that big band is such a big thing anymore. I mean, we have these 3 radio big bands, and we have a lot of young, very hip and modern big band. That's pretty cool. But I think the big band scene was much stronger during the last decade or the last 20 or 30 years. It's more a thing which, it's not so popular anymore, or like it was 20 years ago. But anyway, I think playing big band, it really depends on what character you have. For me, it was really a really great school to learn to take responsibility and to lead a group. And if you like that, that's a perfect place, definitely. And I mean, it's also about sight reading, right? You have to be able to sight read things. And when I recorded here with the NDR Big Band, we have a big band here in town, a very cool radio big band. And I mean, if you are not able to read, people don't understand that doesn't exist in their universe, So the level is pretty high, and it's cool to play with them, of course. Yeah, but I mean, that's an own world, and it has nothing to do with other parts of the music business.
But you say something about reading. Okay, it's important. The people don't understand if you don't read. Wow, how can you read? But in fact, Bud Rich cannot read. Do you know anything about this? Bud Rich doesn't read anything.
Yeah, I heard that. I can't believe that what he said is true. Because sometimes in nowadays when students say to me, "Oh, Christine, I'm so bad in sight reading," I say, "Okay, I got you. But I mean, sit down and learn it for 1 or 2 or 3 weeks. Sight reading is definitely one thing compared to other things, which is learnable. And it doesn't take so much time. So I think it's more, Buddy was such a hero in the big band scene and in that business big band show scene during that time. So I don't believe in this sentence, And but I mean, one aspect which was pretty true is during these times, these bands had more these quick arrangements and learn it by heart, right? So maybe sometimes it was maybe easier to learn it by heart. And nowadays, when modern big bands rehearse, the tunes are so complicated, like composers like Maria Schneider or Bob Brookmeyer. I mean, they invented so much interesting music, but the scene turned in a very artistic way, right? So the tunes are often 10 or 15 minutes long, and you cannot learn it by heart anymore. It's super hard. So nowadays big band playing is more it's not a commercial thing, it's more in a artistic thing, and it's more maybe sometimes related more to classical music nowadays. Very serious music. So,
in the 30s and 40s, the big band was the popular music. Jazz big band was. So I think that jazz became so unpopular when the people stopped to dancing. Do you agree?
Maybe, yeah. Sometimes I wished I was born 30 years earlier or 40 years earlier, because I was so
me too
okay, I mean, who not? And I was so in that big band stuff. I really loved it. I checked out every recording from Count Basie, Buddy Rich Big Band, Maynard Ferguson, Bob Mintzer Big Band, all that stuff. I know almost every record, I would say. Woody Herman Big Band. And sometimes I really don't understand that younger people don't know these albums or whatever, because it's so soulful, it's so tasteful, it's so energetic, this kind of music. And one aspect I really like about big band playing is it's really about the group, that group feeling is so cool. It's like in sports or whatever. I really love that, and from time to time I really miss it because I don't play big band songs so much anymore. I mean, now in Corona times, I think there's almost no big band gig.
Because you can do any agglomeration of people. Exactly. Okay, let's move forward. Please recommend if you can one album for people listen to big band. Because I know the people will be watching this streaming, and one book that you think is important to read and maybe to start to studying the big band thing.
Big band thing. Okay, here's one album I really recommend, because I'm a person who was always between pop and jazz, and I definitely understand people who say, oh, jazz is too complicated for me, but I also understand the jazz people who really think, okay, music has to be interesting, music has to be challenging, and I think big band is also a great mixture between all these kinds of attitudes. So one album I really recommend is Metro Big Band Boom. So Metro, the band with Chuck Loeb, I mentioned earlier, recorded with the WDR Big Band. I think it's from 2012 or something. You guys can find it in the internet. That's definitely one of my favorite albums, because it has so many beautiful pop melodies. I really like it, and it's really easy to hear and to consume. It's really cool music, nice tasty grooves, and brilliant solo and improvisation stuff. So a Metro Big Band Boom. That's
can you write on the YouTube streaming on the chat? Can you do this for all people read and search for?
Can I do that?
Yeah, on the chat, on StreamYard. Oh. Are you seeing?
Wait a second. I need to organize this. Can you see?
Yeah.
One second.
Okay, in one book that you consider that is important.
One book, let me think.
Yeah.
That's kind of tricky to mention right now because since I'm practicing so much and I'm writing my own book at the moment, I'm not so in
really
about drum education or a drum education book. I can mention maybe one or two very cool drum education books I learned a lot from. And I mean, these books are kind of well known. So the one book which is totally helpful to developing concepts is from Syncopation for the Modern Drummer. I mean, that's very well known book. And maybe one very new book is from, I mean, you know, Joost Nickel? Yeah, he's living in town here also, and he wrote that snare book, and I'm working on some things in that book, and I can really recommend that. It's a great book. It's very it has this clarity and very exciting exercises, small exercises. You can learn it within 1 or 2 days. I can really recommend that book, Joost's snare book.
Great. I know what book is. I can write after. Okay, we have a question here. The first question, because people are too shy to ask you something.
Wow,
so yeah, we have a question here. 2 minutes to answer, and we have to finish this session and became for more about maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, okay?
Cool.
Okay.
All right. Should I answer this question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So from my point of view, it's maybe a little interesting because when I studied with Peter or with teachers here in Germany, Holger Nell, Heinz Lichus, that kind of lessons were always very focused on music. And the technical part was, I wouldn't say not underrated, but for me, it was a little bit I missed it a little bit. And so during the last years, I was always searching for technical exercises. I checked out a lot, practiced a lot of rudiments. And I think the most important thing is nowadays, also for social media, but also for jobs, because the level is very high nowadays. You have to have your rudiments together, definitely. That's definitely one skill you need to have nowadays. And I think Peter Erskine said to me, you need to have clear doubles and singles. That's the most important thing. And a really nice phrasing and a good sound and a good touch on the instrument. And then you need to check out as much as possible in terms of different styles, different albums, whatever. And that mixture is the best. And I can definitely agree. I think nowadays the technical part is maybe a little bit more important than 10 or 20 years or 30 years ago or whatever. And I would really work on that every day. And I mean, meanwhile, also for my drum book, I'm working on a lot of rudiment exercises where I combine, classical American rudiments like singles, doubles, paradiddle, or paradiddle variations with flams, with drags, whatever. But I always try to put them in a musical context. So for me, it's always super important because of that that focus on my musical background. That whatever I learned in technical ways, that I can use it in my musical vocabulary. So just the technical stuff which has no melodies, I cannot learn it by heart. I always need music. you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my way of learning technical things. Always try to
Great.
combine it.
Great. Fantastic. So we have to finish this first part. People, just give to us 2 minutes and return to see more of this great drummer, Christin. 2 minutes. We are back. 2 minutes. Okay. So finish this first part and return in Instagram. YouTube is currently is going non-stopping. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah.
See you. So here we go. We are back in Instagram. Just waiting for you, Christin, in Instagram. Okay.
I'm back.
Yeah, we are back. Let's talk about your Instagram videos. You said that to do some videos requires a high level drum videos, etc. But your drum videos at Instagram are actually at a high level.
Thank you.
Don't you think it?
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of aesthetics in general. I'm a big fan of graphic design, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, and refer to videos. I always try to put that taste also to my videos. So for me, it's pretty important that the videos look kind of professional and good. And you know, my room was pretty ugly. I really had no equipment at the beginning, not kind of a good camera equipment, and I had no camera and video editing skills and audio editing skills. So since the lockdown, I took the time, because I was at home, I had no concerts anymore, and I organized all that stuff. And yeah, do you hear me? Yeah. Meanwhile, I think I'm familiar with all that kind of stuff. That means, yeah, I'm using Logic. I have very cool Sennheiser microphones. My room sounds quite okay. Meanwhile, I know how to mix my drum tracks. Kind of. I'm not at the end, you know, but yeah, I'm much better than 2 months ago, I would say. And I am also working with Adobe Premiere Pro. that professional video cut program. And I wouldn't say I can recommend this program because if you don't have much time, or you don't have really the idea to make really great videos, the program is so rich, it's so complicated. If you don't know it, or if you're not familiar with it, it takes a lot of time. But at the end, it's definitely worth doing it. So, especially the color grading thing is really great with these professional video programs. And I recorded all the stuff with a simple GoPro Hero Session 4. So kind of an old camera. Meanwhile, I have the GoPro 6, which is newer. But anyway, I think it's more about your skills referred to that video editing thing at the end, and how you can deal with professional video cut programs. Yeah. Because
your videos are so cool, so fantastic to see. All the videos have some kind of identity.
Do you think that?
Yeah. Not so only about drums and sounds, but with the texture and the colors, the image at all. Very, very cool to watch. You are using Yamaha, of course. Here we have a little secret. We have to wait to know about your new drums. But let's talk about this gear here. Let's talk about your cymbals. I want to talk about some kind of exercises and drum pad videos that you show here. Let's talk about your cymbals, because Mayon. We have this brand here in Brazil, but it's not so popular in Brazil.
Not yet.
Not yet. But let's talk about your cymbals. What you using now? We want to see what you want to know details.
Yeah. So Meinl is a company, German company from South Germany, close to Munich, Nuremberg, and their brand mark is more that dark sound, the dark cymbal sound. And I played for years. Also, when I studied with Peter Erskine, I always played Constantinople Silesian cymbals. And Silesian is super popular in America, and I guess also in South America.
Yeah.
And but I needed a change, and I was really a big fan of the dark cymbal sound. And so I checked out a couple of Meinl cymbals, and then I was recommended to that company, and I checked it out, and I was totally in love with these cymbals. And it was for me kind of a turning point in terms of sound. And I'm still a big fan. Meanwhile, I have so many different series of cymbals. So of course I have these dark sounds, like I usually play Butzans cymbals. That's the more jazzy related dark series. And there's so many different cymbals. Sometimes I'm always asking my artist relation manager, Norbert Seemann, can you recommend me something, because he has the overview about everything. There's so much cymbals, it's incredible. But there are these jazzy kind of cymbals which have more sustain and less ping. And that's what I also needed for my recordings and for my music. Now for that fusion stuff, I prefer thicker cymbals which have more attack and more definition. Like, for example, the Mike Johnson signature ride, the transition ride, is beautiful from Meinl, because it has this jazzy stuff I'm used to play, but it has also the higher definition from, yeah, I would say rock music or pop music. And that's for example, a cool cymbal. And a very new cymbal from Meinl are the Meinl Pure Alloy Customs. They look very beautiful. I used these cymbals in the last videos. I think maybe not in the last video on my Instagram channel, but in videos before that last video. And they have a little bit of sustained, like jazzy cymbals, but they have also this super cool definition, and I really like that. So next year there will be a big tour here in Germany, only big halls and whatever. And I thought, okay, for these kind of spots, concert spots, I really need cymbals who have a higher definition than my jazz cymbals. And yeah, for that kind of stuff, I can really recommend these Pure Alloy custom cymbals from Meinl, and they look super beautiful. So yeah, yeah, but in general, Meinl cymbals, and I'm super happy. I mean, this company in general, it's fantastic to work with these guys. They're so creative and they're so open-minded and they're so aware of everything I'm doing. That's maybe the best what could happen to me, to work with these guys together here in Germany.
Great. Are you still using Remo?
Yes, I'm a big Remo, a real Remo fan. Because I'm used to play Remo since I'm a kid, and all these guys like Peter Erskine and Jeff, all these guys I studied with played Remo, and my impression was in LA was Remo a little bit more represented, because guys like Peter knew Remo Belly in person, right?
Yeah.
And here in Germany, there are a lot of guys who play Evans, and they don't have this kind of real contact to the roots, I would say. But yeah, I play Remo, and I love Remo, and yeah, that's the company I want to deal with.
I met Remo Belli one time here in Brazil.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. He could speak in Portuguese. Do you know?
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Not like a Brazilian, of course, but he understand what I said in Portuguese.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I mean, I thought he has Italian roots, right? But he was American.
Yeah, Italian roots. But he was here in Brazil for a music fair so many years ago. I think I have a pic, a photograph. He was here with a Remo large table, percussion table.
Okay.
Do you remember that? It was a large, very large table with a drum head on it, and you can play with light sticks, maybe plastic. I don't remember, with your hands or like mallets for students to play all together like a group. And Remo was here demonstrating this table.
Awesome.
So
yeah,
I asked for him, what kind of thing is this? He answered me, he's about to play, and he was with 2 drumsticks and play for me. It's a large, very large table, Remo. I don't know if it was a very successful in terms of people buying this large table. It's very large.
Yeah, exactly. Me neither. I don't know. Yeah, I was at the Remo camp here in Germany, like a meeting for Remo and endorser last year, and it was pretty cool because we met each other, because otherwise drummers never met or never meet, because one band needs one drummer and you never meet other drummers in general. But that was pretty cool, and they showed us a movie about the history of Remo and the Remo factory, and I remember that scene. But anyway, I mean, Remo is super successful.
Yeah, of course. Is it? Do you? Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay. Are you still using? It's not the sticks.
The sticks.
The sticks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about Meinl, and Meinl has also a sticks and brush department. And
Really?
yes,
Isn't a new department? Because okay, is a new department now.
it's
I'm
kind
wrong.
of new, but I mean, they exist since, I don't know, 1.5 years or something, or 1 year maybe.
Maybe 1 year, because I just saw this your I just saw the advertise of my drumsticks right now last month.
Okay. Yeah. And anyway, so yeah, you know, I checked out a lot during all the years when I played drums, and I always the feeling, okay, I haven't made my final decision. I was always searching for maybe a maple, a bit a thicker stick, but with a round tip, and yeah. Yeah, that was the stick I was searching for, and Meinl invented a couple of new sticks, or sometimes there are also mixtures of other companies, whatever. And I found one stick, which is I think it's called ST Maple 1, Concert ST1 from Meinl. So a thicker stick, maple stick with a round tip, exactly the stick I was searching for. And that's the stick I'm using right now, next to a bunch of multi-rods and brushes and all that kind of stuff. But I totally like that kind of Meinl stuff, because it's so well designed. The aesthetic thing is so brilliant. I really like it, and I use all the equipment almost every day. Yeah.
Yeah,
so I can recommend that. Check that out. It's really cool.
yeah. I don't know if you have this equipment here in Brazil right now. I don't think so, but I can see at your Instagram that you have so many tools at your back. I'm seeing right now. I'm seeing that you using a little percussion, ring bells.
Yeah,
You put it on your cymbals.
Yeah, so Meinl has also a great percussion department, and I'm also an endorser of these kind of little percussion add-ons. Yeah, you can add to the drum set. And yeah, I told you I'm a big fan of world music and all that kind of groove stuff, and I'm experimenting and improvising a lot with new grooves and sound and groove design. So for me, percussion add-ons are perfect. And I really love using the Ayur belts, these little metal belts. Mine have these belts in different sizes, really cool. And there's also the chimring, like a tambourine. You can put on the hi-hat or on other cymbals. And yeah, that's mainly the stuff I'm using, all the cowbells, of course.
I used it to play with a maple drumsticks too many years ago. Silai stick, Silai drumstick model. It was made for maple. I think it sounds very different from hickory, but I think the is more easy to broke. Don't you think?
You know, I had one wooden tambourine, and in one of my first videos, I used this tambourine, and I played a song from Osnoy, kind of a jazz rocky tune with heavy punch. And, you know, I recorded that tune for one afternoon, and the tambourine was broken, unfortunately, because it was a beautiful tambourine. And then I asked the Meinl percussion artist relation manager, Hannes, Auros, he's the main guy from the Meinl department, and I asked him, "Oh man, do you have a tambourine which is plastic?" And he's, "Yeah, of course, but in general, do you want to be an endorser because you're using all these kinds of instruments very often?" I said, "Yeah, of course, great idea." And that was the point where I was an endorser of the Meinl percussion stuff, and that's awesome. yeah, I'm using it almost every day. It's really cool.
Yeah, very cool. Let's talk about some kind of exercise. Finally, people are maybe waiting for this kind of stuff. Are you with your drumsticks right now?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to
Do you use the yeah,
wait a second.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So what's your question?
Okay, you show us at your Instagram some kind of exercise that you play along with a rock tune, etc. Recently, you put on Instagram. Can you
Okay.
do you remember? Can you say anything about playing just with a pad, okay, and put a rock tune or a funk tune and play with it, but not playing the drum grooves, not playing the drum grooves, playing anything on top of the tune, like you did on the Instagram. That video I saw, and I sent to some people. Wow, watching this is very cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you do this? What kind of rudiment you think about?
Yeah. So that's a very interesting question, and yeah, maybe it's already interesting when I tell you what kind of idea I had with this. So I told you I'm coming more from a musical perspective, and I had the feeling that not that I have a lack of technical skills, but I really had to set my focus on the technical stuff. And I realized when I spoke to other drummers that my way of learning is more the musical way and not the mathematic way, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes when, for example, Joost invented a great system, which is like you have 16 notes, the whole bar or whatever, 2 or 4 bars, whatever. And then you divide these 16 notes into groups. Let's say 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7, and the 5 can be through 2 or 2, 3, whatever. And at the end, you play all these groupings with accents and non-accented, accented, or no accents, and that's kind of a mathematic way, and I understand that. But for me, it's more about I don't care what kind of grouping is that in that moment. I just hear the melody in terms of accents and no accents, you know. And that's exactly the concept I'm using for the rudiment thing. I think for Instagram, it's good to have a couple of bars, not too much, right? Just 2 to 8 bars, nothing more. And sometimes I'm starting with a rudiment idea. Sometimes I love a music track, and I'm kind of composing a rudiment thing to the track. And the video you mentioned, for example, was a tune from Wolfpack, a band which I totally like. And it has this super fun and cool and smart saxophone or trumpet feature at the end, horn feature at the end. I can't remember what kind of instruments there are. And this was so funky and so jazzy and so tasteful and modern and hip. And I thought, oh man, this was such a brilliant idea in this arrangement, this whole arrangement. And I thought, this kind of phrase of that solo section for the horn players is 8 bars long, and it has such a great shape, you know. I really like the musical shape of that arrangement part, and I thought, okay, I take this part of the arrangement, and I need a rudiment phrase, like a chop. I need to practice in general, and I take this chop and develop it in couple of different rudiment ideas that it fits with the shape of the music. And that's exactly what I did. I thought, okay, I need to practice. I need to find an exercise which has all kind of paradiddle variations, not just the simple paradiddle, also the double paradiddle, single paradiddle, whatever, all these, the triple paradiddle, whatever. And then I combined everything, and this kind of band was at the end 8 bars long, and it matched with the music at the end. And this is so cool because I listened to the music and I practice that rudiment stuff. And when I listen to the music, I know exactly where the goal is, you know, the shape has to be very long, and I don't have to stop in the middle. I need to reach that final point. And that's pretty cool. And that's a different feeling also in terms of phrasing and precision and locomotion, you know. You don't have to, if you just practice with metronome. So I'm always wondering why. I mean, there's so much rudiment stuff in the internet, right? So much rudiment stuff and incredible stuff, no doubt. But I'm always wondering why. I think more people could use music while they practicing rudiments. And I think maybe that's also the reason why people like this kind of videos I made. I have no idea, I am just assuming. But it's always a combination of rudiments, technique, and music. And it looks pretty easy. And when you try it, sometimes it's kind of hard. So in one video, I tried to invent a coordination exercise. I don't know. I was up to write something with heavy coordination stuff, and I took something from Cuban music, so mambo clave.
Yes.
But I divided it and I turned it around a little bit, and then I took a song from Richard Boner, a very great bass player from Africa, West Africa. And
the video is that one that you have a drumstick on your left,
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And I thought, okay, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's practice that a couple of hours or maybe 2 afternoons or whatever. And then I recorded, and then turned out that it was so heavy. It was such a heavy coordination exercise. I thought I will fail. I practiced it for, I don't know, 5 or 6 days, and I was really close to cancel that whole thing. It was so heavy. But then at the end, I mean, it's always so cool when you practice. You have this little sheet, only these 2 to 8 bars, and you know, okay, today, whatever, it's Monday, on Sunday, I'm able to do that. And I really like these small exercises, you know, because the success is so close. Yeah, and I think that's definitely one thing, this rudiment series, I will do more and more, and also on YouTube, as I mentioned already.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
So can you teach us a little one of these little exercises right now to people here?
I think so. Let me check if people can see that.
Okay.
Let me check that.
Yeah, maybe a little. Yeah, just a little bit.
That?
Yeah. Okay.
Can you guys see
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. So I was talking about shapes, right? And for me, musical shapes are very important because I know the beginning point, I know the final point, and I know how the shape should be. And that's the reason why I love practicing with music. And I was talking about the Wolfpack song and this horn section feature at the end. And I thought, okay, I was using a paradiddle combination, like, right?
Yeah.
left hand. Faster. So that was
no problem.
okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was the first part, just the just the first bar of that whole thing, and then I thought, okay, the solo section of the horn players has just begun. I need a development of this, right? And then I tried to develop that whole Riemann phrase. And 8 bars were done. So you know, I always try to have a basic idea, and I always try to create a very efficient workout. So I don't want to practice just a single paradiddle. I really, I was searching for an exercise which combines all these paradiddle variations and ideas. And so I thought, okay, let's take all these paradiddle variations and combine it in one exercises, and let's build a loop about 8 bars. And another important thing for me always is try to train your weaker hand. My weaker hand is the left hand. As best or as much as you can do. That the feeling in your weaker hand is like in the right hand, in my stronger hand. And that's why my exercises are usually alternating between the right and the left hand. And that's also another fact I'm focusing a lot. And you know, but that's different. If you just practice to a metronome, it's completely fine. And you know, whenever I'm working on a new workout, I also practice it very slow and only with a click and so on. But later or in the middle of the process, I'm always practicing with music, because I got aware of, oh wow, the whole phrasing, the whole precision and the locomotion, you know, the movement forward is so different when you practice it with music. It's incredible. And I think it's the same with groove playing. Yeah. If you just practice with a metronome, there's the danger that you think too vertical, you know, but when you want to groove, or when you want to have a groove, which is the groove should always roll, right?
Yeah.
And if you just practice with metronome, it's fine for the precision. But I think the best thing is to have a mixture of playing with music and playing with metronome. I think then it's the perfect mixture of precision and the rolling aspect, you know, the locomotion aspect. Yeah, that's
it becomes more fluid.
Absolutely.
When you play, whatever
Absolutely.
you play, because the metronome is, like you said, is like something like something cold.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, I mean, there's so many different opinions in nowadays, but the music which had an impact on me was always I would say music styles like soul and funk and all that stuff. So and these kind of genres are very soulful. There's so much in it, you know, and it's always combined with an attitude and with a lifestyle, and it gives you something. And I really like that kind of music, and I always try to transfer it also to rudiment exercises, to so much, to whatever you do. It has to have an attitude, you know. That's my philosophy, but it's just my philosophy.
Very, very great. Very, very important to know about your way to study. It's very difficult to study things like, what do you think about things like flat flams?
Flat flams?
Yeah.
What mean you with? I know what flams are. What do you mean with flat?
Yeah, like you play both sticks, both hands, and at your drum pad or snare drum at the same time, you know, like a unisono, like I don't know how to say, when you play together, for example.
Unisono, yeah.
Yeah, unisono. For me, it's like a flam, but not a flam. Pra, pra, but
okay.
Together.
Yeah, okay, a closed flam. Yeah. So everything I can say about that flam aspect is I learned it how it is played in America. Like guys like Jeff Hamilton told me there, you know, the flam itself and the main stroke has to they have to be a team, you know, a symbiose. In German we say symbiose. So they have to be like a good team, and the space between the flam and the main stroke, there has to be a tasteful space in between. So I'm not a big fan of phrasing to how to say to, you know, when there's not so much space between. I really like being relaxed while I'm playing. I really like to give the music a certain flow, and they have to, you know, it has to sound relaxed, and that's also the reason why whenever I play flams, there's a certain space between. I don't like it if it's too narrow, you know?
Too very close.
Yeah, I don't like it very much, and that's how I learned it in America, and how I heard it a couple of times, and yeah. But I mean, there's so many different opinions. That's just my point of view.
I ask you because I studied with the drummer Kenwood Dennard.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Kenwood?
No, not in person.
But do you know who is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kenwood Dennard, and he showed me the exercise with flat flams, both sticks together at same drum at snare, not different surfaces, just one surface together, playing quarter notes, eighth notes, triplets together. Is very difficult, because if you play in a snare drum, the drum head will respond and make some kind of weird movement, and you have to really control your drumstick. Maybe on the drum pad is not the same response, but at snare drum is really difficult. And Kenwood Dennard is very good with this kind of stuff. We had a comment. A girl, a drummer, said to you, okay, Aaron, no, it's not a girl, sorry, Aaron Brizuela. Hello, Christian, I'm from Salta, north of Argentina. You are amazing and beautiful. Thanks for following me. I can't believe.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, of course. I mean, in social media, it's such a fantastic thing, the artificial intelligence, and through that function, it's really possible to find other creative people in the world who have kind of the same taste. And for me, it's always a great inspiration when I meet people on social media which have, from my point of view, tasteful sense for drumming or whatever. So yeah, hi back, and thank you. I appreciate it.
I think the people are watching now us are very shy, because people maybe is watching us like this. Because we don't have any questions, people are understanding everything that you said and show us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No, I mean, in general, there's so many different ways of playing drums, or so many different techniques, and so many different tastes and opinions and whatever. For me, there was not just one opinion or whatever. My experience says everything needs really time to develop, and you know, everybody has different hands or different brain or whatever, and everybody has to find his or her own way, and it's always a mixture of different experiences from other drummers. And but one thing I really like is I really grew up in that American jazz tradition, this really risk-taking, open-minded, groove-playing oriented thing. And for me, time is one really fundamental thing, to have a really steady time and a beautiful sound and a bright setting of musical repertoire and understanding. And that's a nice phrasing, nice sound, nice musicality. That these are really, for me, the most important factors when I play drums. Yeah, that's it.
Great. So maybe both of us are endorsed by supported by Adidas. So we are going now to finish, but I want to say something that you want to say to the young drummers that are watching us, some kind of recommendation, anything what want to say, please be my guest.
Of course. So I mean, I studied at different universities and I traveled and toured so much until now, and I know so many people from so many different cultures. You know, I have a kind of not a steady gig, but in Jordan and in the Middle East. I have friends in South America, and in Russia and the Balkan countries, and of course, also in Central Europe. And I know there's so many different attitudes towards music and drumming, but the most important experience for me is really try to be self-confident and modest at the same time. I think this is very, very important. And just try to keep your practice routine and be precise and very proper with things you do. And sometimes, especially nowadays with social media, it's sometimes hard to deal with all that kind of business stuff, and you're you feel forced to post videos or whatever. But I think the truth is, it's fine, but the truth is it needs time to develop. And the problem is not solved when you just imitate someone. You really need to find your own thing, because that means authenticity. And it's not about imitating someone. And that also means to take a risk, to make mistakes, to fail sometimes, but to stand up and to work on, and to keep all this practice routine, and to try to be self-confident. These are the most important factors to me in my working every day.
Great, fantastic. When we will see your drum book, when it is finished?
Yeah, so it's also because of the whole kind of shitty Corona situation for everybody, for us. That's also an idea I wanted to realize since month, but I had no time for it. And the last weeks, I started with these videos. And I mean, it's not that the social media thing is kind of new for me, but I mean, I'm also teaching since 4 years at universities or whatever. So I started at a very early age with that. And I'm used to create exercises and to think about the whole learning education process. I think I have a strong passion for music, but I can also feel when I teach students what's wrong, or what kind of way doesn't work and what kind of way works, and that was the main reason, or the basic reason for writing a book. I have so many ideas in my head, and it was just about finding time to write it down, that the design looks pretty, and it will be about a lot of workouts, but in a very, very musical way. And it's also about timing and precision, all these very important musical factors, you know, because I think I earned a lot of experiences when I was playing different jobs here and there. And so, yeah, a little bit of everything, but I think on a very high level, and it's for beginners, but it's also for, I would say it's for advanced drummers, definitely, because you've seen that the rudiments are kind of heavy sometimes. But it's also for beginners, I think, for everybody.
Great.
So, yeah, and I would say it's maybe at the end of the year, if I can do that in time at the end of the year. It will be
yeah, I can't wait. I want to see your book. We have a comment here. Bang the drums, Christine. I love your account and the content you put out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So, people, we are finishing now, and I want to say thank you for everyone that was watching. Great Christine, our special guest for this afternoon, and I hope that you like it. This streaming will be recorded at our YouTube drum channel, Girls on Drums, okay, youtube.com/Girls on Drums, and of course here on IGTV, Instagram. And thank you, Christine, for your time, your patience, and your enthusiasm. You're so great drummer. You're so special person. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. I really appreciate it, especially during these times where, I mean, all the musicians don't have so much spot at the moment. And, you know, it's a great chance to get in touch first, but also to talk about ideas and things and to, I mean, there's an exchange, I would say. So thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. So don't go away from the StreamYard. We'll talk a little bit in backstage, like I said. Yeah. And tomorrow we have here a live stream with a Brazilian drummer, a metal Brazilian drummer called Larissa Futema. If you want to see her, this is streaming, people, you are our guests. Amanhã nós teremos aqui então uma live com Larissa Futema, aqui de São Paulo, às 8 horas, 8 p.m. here, Instagram and YouTube channel. Larissa Futema, metal drummer, Brazilian metal drummer, here for you. Okay?
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take care. God bless you. Thank you.